Foldable smartphones. There's no doubt about it, folks. This is the future of our mainstream handhelds. The usual big players, Apple and Samsung, all have patents regarding the new form factor. And in the case of the Samsung, the Galaxy Fold is even soon to debut. It's a very cool product indeed, but one that is of high risk for both consumer and manufacturer. So LG seems to have gone with a safer and quite dramatically straightforward approach by slapping another display with a special case. Well, I'm here to tell you that sometimes simple things work. This is a 3-month review of the LG V50 #Dualscreen. So I know some of you are actually more interested in the case rather than the phone itself. And if that's you, that would make us. Ironically, the accessory is more hyped than the phone itself this time, which is expected. Besides the usual internal upgrades to a Snapdragon 855 and a larger 4000 mAh battery, the phone shares nearly the identical design language to the V40 announced a year ago. And the only color option is this boring old glossy black. This isn't a deal breaker for me though, since my go-to color has always been black. The part I do like though is the camera module being completely embedded into its glass panel. This gives the phone a very modern look to it that was more noticeable than I thought. The back-mounted fingerprint scanner, not so much though. The build quality was as expected from a regular flagship, and the buttons were thin but clicky. The device supports the usual IP68 for water and dust resistance, and the not-so-usual mil-spec A10G for that extra ruggedness. And there is still those extra LG goodies, such as support for microSD, 32-bit hi-fi quad DAC, and versatile microphones that I'm actually using to record this script on. So here's a sample. The camera was a welcome surprise. While the module remains pretty much the same, LG made some notable software adjustments to improve those cameras. The auto mode was the usual LG style with a warmer color tone, but low-light photography on the rear camera was noticeably better and produced great results from indoor cafes to evening strolls. LG's night mode though didn't seem to do a whole lot much, so I'd recommend just shooting with auto. But selfies are more of a miss. Both the 8 and 5 megapixel units lack the details and perform very poorly at dimly lit scenarios. Still, for casual Instagram use, they will suffice. For video, the manual mode in Cine Video was enjoyable to use, but just wanted to say, LG used to make one of the best smartphone cameras in the business, and they still kinda do, but LG seems to be less and less serious about their cameras, and it's especially a shame for the V series smartphones. Now on the bright side, the phone's performance was stellar as expected, and being one of the few 5G capable smartphones around, it is plenty future-proof. Now with this increased battery capacity, I was able to get a full days of use with around 30% charge left. But this was probably for the one and only, the dual screen case. Which is honestly more than just an accessory for this phone, it's a feature. And with it, a compilation of smartphone features that just works. The display is connected via electrical pins, and it operates completely as a second screen. Thus, when attached, you get the benefit of having 2 smartphones at your disposal. Only the main screen can do the usual Android multi-window, so in theory you can run 3 apps in total simultaneously. This means you can watch a YouTube video while browsing the web, while searching for nearby subways. Or you can use 2 separate Chrome tabs just because you want to. Chrome is currently the only app that I was able to get this working, by the way. Other apps will just shift to whatever display you're using. Also, prop one of the displays up and you can have a mini laptop experience by filling the entire screen with a keyboard or a gamepad for a more immersive gaming experience. This was one of the major selling points of flexible smartphones, being able to do much more at your disposal. And while it's nowhere near as elegant, LG's way is more practical. And while the symmetry of the 2 screens is somewhat left to be desired, the display itself is a nice vivid OLED panel. There is that huge visible hinge between the two displays, so it would be hard to use it as just one big screen. But I do wish LG at least included the option to do so. This also means you can't get screenshots of both displays, by the way, just separate ones. And I do wish there were more integration between the two displays. For example, LG's launcher allows for the rearranging of apps in the app drawer on the main screen, but the settings aren't transferred to the Dualscreen's app drawer. And you can't use the new gesture navigation from Android Pie either. And remember when I said you can dedicate the entire screen for the keyboard? Well, that only works with LG's keyboards, and you'd obviously want the keyboard or the gamepad for that matter on the main screen where the battery is located for that balanced weight distribution. But it sometimes works and sometimes doesn't. So there are holes to be filled. Still, the Dualscreen has proven to be more than a half-baked feature, and LG did a fairly decent job with smoothness for a new concept. Overall, the V50 was a regular V-series smartphone, an LG flagship with great multimedia performance. But it became something else with that Dualscreen case. If you're anyone in search of a well-rounded smartphone with great multitasking capabilities, or maybe you feel insecure about the first-gen foldables and you want to wait for a Galaxy Fold 2, this phone should be on top of your wish list. This has been a Intelligent Review, and feel free to subscribe for more V50 and tech-related content. I'm John Kim, signing off.